So, you just started playing League of Legends and feel like there is just so much of the game you still don't understand. Well, if that is you, then you have come to the right video. I'll be going over everything you need to know while directing you to sources of information that will be essential to building a solid foundation for success in this game. To make things as simple as possible, I have broken this video down in the order you would encounter everything when you play this game. Starting with the objective. How do you win in League of Legends? During champion select, which summoner spells should you choose? How do you decide which lane to play? Which champion should you pick that is appropriate for your lane? Which runes should you take? When getting into a game, what items should you buy? How do you get through the laning phase in one piece? All your questions will be answered and more, like leveling up champion skills, key bindings, minions, turrets, neutral objectives, inhibitors, and finally destroying the Nexus and winning the game. If this sounds like information overload, you're not wrong, but I'm here to explain and make things as simple as possible. So firstly, the objective. How do you win? Go down any lane, kill everything, towers and inhibitors, then the Nexus towers before the main objective becomes attackable. But on the way there, you will have enemy players trying to stop you. As a word of warning, League of Legends has no shortage of toxic players. They will especially target players who are new to the game, ripping you to shreds from question mark pings to typing wonderful poetry at you. So in any case, ignorance is bliss. If you're able to get past that and keep your sanity intact, then this game might just be for you. Are you still with me? Okay, for those that haven't clicked off this video yet, let's get started. I'm assuming you have a relatively new account and have already played through the tutorials. In that case, you'll be playing against bots or blind pick against players. So let's queue up and decide on a lane to play. Do you want to be the tanky frontline top laner, the one-shot burst assassin or mage of mid lane? Do you like being stealthy and holding all the power by playing god, I mean jungle, deciding who gets to live and who dies on the map? Or maybe teamwork is your cup of tea and you like to play a marksman. If you have a soft spot for others and would like to be your team's guardian angel, then play support. Once you have decided, enter the champion select lobby. It's a good habit to type your desired role in chat to avoid any drama. If you aren't fast enough, be respectful. And hopefully you already have another role in mind. Next up, pick your champion. Here are the champions I recommend for each role. They are all beginner friendly and easily affordable for new accounts via Blue Essence. There are no wrong answers here, so listen up. For top lane, I recommend picking Garen for the tanky yet modest damage bruiser. For jungle, Master Yi has extremely high damage and potential to kill 5 enemy players all by himself. Mid lane, Annie or Lux. They both have one-shot burst potential to instantly kill an enemy champion. For ADC, I recommend Ashe, as she has great late game damage and a simple yet effective kit. Lastly, for support, Soraka or Yuumi both provide excellent healing and modest perk damage in lane. If you'd like to unlock more champions, check out the loot tab to open chests for shards and blue essence, or go into your champions tab and unlock your desired pick there. I recommend unlocking all the 450 blue essence champions you see on this list. Moving on, here is a list of very strong but harder to play champions that are timeless, always powerful in ranked games, and definitely worth the time investment to learn once you are ready to take the next step. At this point, you might be asking, but there are 156 champions on the roster. How can I know what they even do? Very good question. Unfortunately, you might not like the answer I'm about to give you. The truth is, League of Legends is not beginner friendly, and the only way to know each champion is by researching, playing against them, or playing those champions yourself. The good news is, there are vast amounts of knowledge online, but if research isn't your cup of tea, simply playing the game and reading up on certain champions as you encounter them will do just fine. The League of Legends wiki and YouTube videos are 2 great starting points if you're feeling more proactive. Speaking of YouTube, let's say for example, you want to learn Anivia. Type this into your YouTube search bar. Challenger, which is the highest ladder ranking, followed by champion name and role. You'll find full-length videos of professionals playing your desired champion. Best thing to do? See what they're doing in their games and copy them. On the other hand, if you just want basic information, go into your game client and browse. Click on a champion, then click on their abilities for a short video and a brief tooltip. Now that you have picked your champion, check your summoner spells. These are powerful spells that are used in combination with all champions in the game. These spells are extremely valuable, so use them wisely. They have a long cooldown and provide game-changing benefits. As a general rule of thumb, always take flash on every champion and any role you play. As for your other summoner spell, this will depend. Take teleport and ignite for top lane, smite for jungle, ignite, exhaust or barrier for mid, heal for ADC, and exhaust or ignite for support. If your account is very new, you may be stuck with ghost and heal for some time. That is okay, as they serve the same purpose, which is to help your champion survive and provide mobility. Once your account is level 7 or 9, swap those summoner spells over. Once your summoner spells are sorted, we still have one more thing to do. Select your runes. On a low level account, you can select from a few presets, but honestly, they aren't well optimized. As you level up, the plus icon here will light up, letting you add rune pages. This lets you customize them, but it's a little tricky, so let me break this down for you. Once you're able to customize them, the first thing you'll select are the keystones. These are the big boys. They provide game-changing enhancements to your champion. Then, you'll select your runes. These can be broken down into health increase, mana regen, damage increase, reduced damage taken, cooldown reduction, mobility and tenacity, and lastly, utility and free items. But the good news is, as a new player, you do not have to worry about any of this, because the League of Legends community has already figured out the best runes to take for every champion in every role. All you need to do is copy paste. On u.gg, type in the champion you desire, select the role you are playing, and copy. As you play more games, you'll become familiar with these runes and adjust them to better suit your playstyle. Also, don't forget to copy the shards, which are down here. By now, you just completed champion select optimally, and you're on your way to winning this game. Once you have loaded in, we first need to buy items tailored to your champion. In the shop, there is a recommended tab that you can quite happily trust. For the most part. When you left click on an item, the right panel will display the components needed to build said item. Throughout the game, be sure to spend your hard-earned gold at the shop for components in this tab. It's important because you want to keep up with the enemy players as items make your champion stronger. If you manage to complete an item, it will also grant your champion with a substantial power spike. With that said, the recommended tab is still a work in progress and not always optimal. So, in the middle tab, you'll find all items that the shop has to offer. They are broken up into fighter, marksman, assassin, mage, tank, and support. Depending on your champion and role, you'll find optimal items in the appropriate tab. If you would like more information on how items work, I have recently released a video that goes in more depth on items and other useful information. You can find them in the description box below or on the top right corner of this video. For a beginner, there are just too many items in this game, but I am all for simplifying everything, so once again, head over to u.gg, your League of Legends Bible. If you scroll down, you'll see an item build order, and you guessed it, copy it. As you play games, be sure to at least read the first item in your build order, as that is your mythic item. Once you become more experienced at the game, your item builds will change depending on matchups. But for now, do not worry about anything and just copy paste. Moving on to trinkets. What are they? This slot is solely designed around vision control. We have 3 trinkets: yellow, red, and blue. The yellow trinket drops wards down. It places a totem which is invisible to the enemy and gives you vision of an area. Always use them in dark areas like river and brushes because they will save your life by revealing roaming enemy champions. Red is the sweeping trinket. It reveals invisible enemy wards and champions, allowing you to clear them out. Blue is accessible once your champion is level 9. It lets you ward at a great distance but is visible to the enemy team. Generally, do not buy this one unless you're playing as a marksman or an immobile mage. With your starting items and trinket in hand, the game begins at 1:05 game time. This is when minions will spawn. So, let's talk about laning phase. This is a matter of last hitting minions to generate gold, use this gold to buy items, and use those items to kill enemy champions. Then, when it's safe to do so, make a push towards towers. These are the big boys, and they do a ton of damage, so you will need minions to take the damage while you destroy it. Problem is, enemy players are in the way. So, let's dive a bit deeper. Minions are little helpers that fight by your side and are essential in your push towards towers. In lane, you'll be up against one or more enemy champions. If the enemy hits you with a basic attack, your minions will retaliate, and at early levels, they deal a lot of damage. Play around them by hugging your tower and minions. Laning phase is actually quite complex because no 2 games are the same, and only through experience will you know what to do. A universal rule to follow is focus on getting last hits on minions, unless you're a support, more on that later. This is known as CS, short for creep score. As you get better at the game, try to aim for anywhere between 8 to 10 CS per minute over the duration of the game. This is your bread and butter to winning by simply generating more gold than the enemy team and being that much stronger. Of course, your opponent will try to prevent this by fighting you. To counter this, fall back to your minion wave or tower when the fights are unfavorable. You may also choose to fight back if they are overzealous. Trust your minions in a one-on-one. Over time, you'll learn your champion's strengths and weaknesses in order to play more optimally. Luckily for you, I have plenty of videos that talk about the laning phase on most of my gameplay commentaries on my channel. If you ever find yourself low on health and would otherwise die if you stay in lane, find somewhere safe behind your tower or in a brush and press B to recall. After an 8-second channel, you will teleport to the base and heal to full. While healing, always use this time to spend your gold on items and components. Then head back to your lane as soon as possible so you do not miss out on precious gold and experience. With your new items in hand, and if you're successful in pushing your opponent out of lane, you may consider pushing to their tower with your minions. During this small window of opportunity, the goal is to destroy tower platings and get out in one piece. There are 5 bars on the outer tower. Each represents 1000 health, and upon destroying a bar, you're granted 160 gold. This adds up really quickly and is extremely rewarding. Think of it like the banana room after beating a boss boss in Donkey Kong, but in this case the bananas are gold and the boss was your lane opponent. Needless to say, tower platings are extremely lucrative and can grant up to 1250 gold upon its destruction. So if you want to be the unstoppable big boy in your games, find ways to take out the opposing tower while denying your lane opponent from getting yours. On a side note, the two roles that deviate from this information would be support and jungle. As a jungler, instead of laning, you'll be going around the map clearing jungle camps. Your priority is to create leads for your team by ganking lanes, which enables them to help you safely acquire neutral objectives. This will strengthen your team, giving you better odds at taking towers and snowballing into a big boy. Jungling requires a lot more understanding of the game, so I recommend not playing this role until a later stage. On the other hand, as a support, life is much easier. You do not take CS because your main source of gold income is from your support item. It is bad etiquette to take CS away from your ADC, so leave it for them. Instead, read your support item and understand how it generates gold for you. And depending on your champion, focus on poking the enemy laner, healing or protecting your ADC, and roaming to mid lane and neutral objectives to help sway the odds in your team's favor. As your champions level up, you'll need to skill up your abilities. Once again, consult the u.gg gods, conveniently located here. It will show you which abilities to skill up at any given level. To level up an ability, press Ctrl and either Q, W, E, or R. Be sure to skill up your ultimate, R, at level 6, 11, and 16. That is your most powerful spell. If I see any of you guys use your mouse to click it, I will personally go over there and put a Lego in your shoe. So don't do it. While we're on topic, let's quickly go over key bindings. All your hotkeys and settings can be customized by pressing the escape key. Two important keybinds that aren't mapped by default are area is warded ping and the attack champions only key. Be sure to bind those two to whichever key you find most comfortable. When playing, always use the A and left click keybind to attack move. My binds are shown here as a reference point for you to get started. It's quite similar to the default settings, so change them to how you see fit. So far, hopefully you're having fun laning against your opponent, but this whole time you can't help but wonder, what are all these chiming noises? You might even have gotten a few of those placed on you. These are known as pings. They help your team communicate things like on my way, danger, retreat, or asking for assistance, but it's more commonly used to convey one's disgruntled emotions. If you'd like to ping your team, press G, then find the appropriate spot on the map, hold down left click, and a menu will pop up. Then select the ping you want your team to see. The other type of ping is to hold down the tab key and click on summoner spells and other elements to let your team know that the enemy has used this. Holding down the tab key also gives you valuable information on everyone's items, CS, kills, as well as neutral objectives and spawn timers. If for some reason while playing this game, you find your sanity levels rapidly decreasing, Uncle Jay here has a solution for you. Hold down the tab key and click these boxes here to mute other players, or press enter and type /mute all. There is nothing wrong with taking a break after a heated game, but always try your best and stay positive. Next, we have neutral objectives, starting with Scuttle Crab. Killing it grants gold and river vision. Always try to push your lane minions into the enemy tower before rotating to help your jungler fight for this. And remember, to let your jungler last hit the Scuttle Crab or he might rage quit the game. Next up is Rift Herald. Upon killing it, an eye will drop which replaces your trinket slot. Use this to summon Rift Herald near towers for some sweet gold. Slaying the dragon gives your team a buff depending on its element. This buff stacks, so slay as many as you can. Baron Nashor is the raid boss. You'll need help killing it. This grants your team 300 gold each and a buff that increases your damage while turning friendly minions Super Saiyan. This buff will help you push lanes and win the game. I am oversimplifying here to not overload you guys with information, but in general, it is a good idea to help your team secure these objectives as priority over farming CS in lane when possible. Grabbing these objectives brings a substantial advantage to your team later down the track. So now we're marching into the enemy's base with Dragon and Baron buffed minions. Their outer towers are destroyed and the defenses are crumbling. We are minutes away from claiming victory. You should now encounter this pointy cupcake. It's called an inhibitor. Destroying it spawns super minions from your nexus, making them go Ultra Instinct, granting them tankiness and a ton of damage. This will, once again, help you push into the enemy base and win the game. So if you destroy all 3 of the enemy inhibitors, then all 3 of your lanes will spawn 2 Ultra Instinct minions each way from your nexus. Normally at this point the game is practically won. All you have to do is wait for your super minions to overwhelm the enemy team before engaging and winning the fight. And that's it. Well done on winning. If this video was helpful, you may also like this video, which I mentioned earlier. If you'd like to see me high ranking player play while explaining my every move and action as I climb through the ranks from lowest in iron to the highest, check out my playlist in the description box titled Iron to Diamond, and better yet, subscribe. I'm good, I promise. All of my useful playlists will also be in the description box below. And with that said, this is JC, and I hope to see you all in my upcoming videos. Cheers.